Hey everybody, I want to talk to you about The Pedestrian. I think it's a really cool short story, and I just want to talk through some details because it does really relate to our next story, Fahrenheit 451. It's by the same author. They're both actually from the 1950s, which I think is going to surprise a lot of people based on how they responded to the pedestrian questions. So first, in The Pedestrian, Leonard Meade is the only person who actually appreciates being alone. It's not that he feels lonely, it's that he can actually be alone and it's something he can appreciate. Everybody else needs their screen, everybody else needs entertainment. He just likes going for a walk outside. The city is so empty because everybody else, it says they're entombed. It's like they are dead inside or dead inside their houses, and all they get is just the glare from screens to fill their emptiness. Whereas Leonard Meade is actually living this full life, walking around thinking. At the very end of the story, it talks about his house glowing, like the lights are on, like he's full of thought, and everybody else just has these glares. Leonard Meade has a really natural perspective of the world. He's outside witnessing things. So he has this simile talking about cars as if they are scarab beetles giving off this perfumed incense. Among all this, he's keeping to himself, but he's actually arrested. He's arrested because in his society, in that culture, it's weird for him to be outside just taking a walk. Everybody's expected to be inside, go home, just keep to themselves. And in a lot of ways, it's so cultural that they don't even have police officers anymore. There's just one car that patrols because so rarely are people out doing anything other than being home. I did have some people say, like, well, he was drunk, so that's why he got in trouble. He wasn't drunk. He just stumbles when he realizes, like, he's actually being arrested for this because he doesn't have screens, because he doesn't have a wife to give him an alibi, that they're actually going to arrest him for it. With that, they're going to take him to a psych ward. They're going to study regressive tendencies. What that means is in life you can progress, you can regress. So they're saying he's gone back, or he's not progressing like everyone else. He's not engaged. They want to know how he hasn't conformed to society, why he does these things that are antiquated, that are old, that nobody else is doing. That could be a nice way of saying they're going to reprogram him or just take him away from everybody else so that it doesn't have a bad effect. In the end, I had a lot of people see this in ways that connect with coronavirus, ways that connect with police, ways that connect with technology. I originally had seen it as this connection to technology because it's going to make a bridge. This world will bridge to Fahrenheit 451. But people obviously made great connections to the coronavirus and the fact that people want to go outside, and in some cases we can't be around other people. Doesn't connect so much with Leonard Meade because he likes to be alone. He can embrace that, but plenty of connections there. People being stuck in their house. We're spending more time on our screens. Like, oh my gosh, when I get my screen time report on my phone, it's shameful. So I understand those connections. Also, this abuse or misuse of power by police, many people brought that up, that he wasn't really doing anything, but because he looked different, he was isolated and attacked by the police for that. So a lot of other good connections, but really it was to help us get a perspective of what it's going to be like in Fahrenheit 451. Book is published a couple years later, still in that kind of society where everybody loves technology, because in short, this book is about firefighters who burn books. Our main character is a firefighter, and instead of putting fires out, they put fire to anything that spreads different ideas. So the book that we would normally read in class, it's full, it takes additional explanation, would be this. Now that we're learning from home, we're going to be using the graphic novel Fahrenheit 451. I'll send it to you in sections. For my people who read through this very quickly, I will also send you links so that you can read the full novel. It's up to you. But as you see on our list of assignments, reading the full novel is just an enrichment opportunity. So don't feel you have to, but you will always have that link. Also, I've given you some background with my thoughts on The Pedestrian. If you feel like you know enough about the book that you want to go on to thought police questions, or you want to go on to reading the actual story, go for it. If you want to know a little bit more about Fahrenheit 451, you can watch the link I sent you. You can watch this YouTube video. It doesn't so much have spoilers as it's going to give you more depth on the plot, other than it's about a firefighter who burns books. It's going to tell you a little bit more about his struggles, about his complications, about his life and their society. So if you'd rather figure that out by reading, don't watch this video. If you want to just get a little bit more background before you jump into the reading, by all means watch this video. That is your choice. So at this point, hopefully you know a little bit more about The Pedestrian, why I had you read it, how it fits in, and hopefully you're also interested in getting into Fahrenheit 451. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, send me an email or see me on Wednesday when I set up those Zoom meetings. We can have a conversation about Fahrenheit 451, about The Pedestrian, about A Sound of Thunder, whatever it is you need. So I'll talk to you then. Have a great day, my friends.